Hey guys, hoping all is well with everybody. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to be continuing on with the practice algebra exam, starting with question number 20. Question number 20 states that x minus b is greater than 2x minus b. Now, what I want you guys to imagine for the sole purposes and intents of this question is that b is going to be some value. The reason I want you to imagine this is, for this, so far with this practice algebra exam, we've been comfortable with identifying x as a variable, and we've always been solving for it. With this question, I don't want you guys to get confused with trying to solve for two variables. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to solve for the inequality of how x is related to b. But the reason that I want you guys to imagine b as a value is because what I want you to notice here is that there's a minus b on this side and there's a minus b on this side. No matter what number you imagine, you're going to be canceling it out. However, it's going to become a number. So I want you to keep that in mind as we go ahead with this problem. Now, we're going to approach this just like we would any other inequality. We're going to get x on one side of the inequality to start. So again, to avoid negatives, I'm going to subtract the smaller coefficient variable, this being 1x, subtracted from 2x. So subtracting x from both sides, we're going to get that negative b is greater than x minus b. Now, here's what happens. We're going to add b just as we would in any other equation or inequality on both sides to isolate x. But the reason I wanted you guys to imagine a number is when you take the negative of a number and add the positive of a number, it gets canceled out. However, it becomes 0. Think about it. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. Negative 10 plus 10 is 0. What I want you guys to think about is when we are making these cancellations of trying to isolate our variable, the terms don't just randomly disappear. It becomes 0. But because it's inferred of 0, we don't always put it in terms of the equation, because adding 0 doesn't change anything to the inequality or equation itself. However, when it's the only value that's on the one side of an inequality, it does represent itself as a number or quantity or value. So when we isolated x and we got negative b plus b and canceled out b, we got 0 as a result. So our final answer is going to be that x is less than 0. Now remember, as just to be a beneficial kind of housekeeping, I like to have my x variable on the left side of the inequality, just because on standardized tests and exams, that's usually the form it will take. So as long as you put your inequality in the same orientation of its terms, it is still correct. So it'll be x is less than 0, and that will be our answer. And we do have choice E definitely as one of our possible answers. Okay, so again, just a little recap here. When we take anything in an inequality or an equation, when we're trying to isolate the variable, we're not just disappearing or canceling out and it's not going like nowhere. We get 0. But when there's other parts of the equation still on that side, that's why we don't put the 0, because it is inferred. And when we add 0 to something, it doesn't change the equation. Okay? Alrighty. So that's question number 20. X is less than 0. Now, let's go ahead and look at the next question, question number 21. Okay. Question number 21 states, given the equation A minus the quantity C plus 2B quantity squared equals 0. Solve for A if B equals negative 2 and C equals 4. And then our choices for this problem are A, 1, -3, 2, -1, and 0. Okay, what I want to caution you guys before we start this problem is this is an order of operations problem. We're going to want to be really careful as we're making our substitutions that we follow our standard order of operations. Remember, we have parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Okay, remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Now remember, multiplication and division go hand in hand, so if they are on the same left to right, as long as the other priorities are taken care of first. Same with addition and subtraction, from left to right, they can be followed together as long as the other priorities are taken care of first. So let's go ahead and make our substitution as our first step. We have A minus the quantity 4 plus 2 times the quantity of -2, and that's all going to be quantity squared, and that's going to be equal to 0. Now let's do parentheses first. So we have A minus 4 plus 2 times a -2 is -4. So 4 plus a -4 squared equals 0. Let's follow the next priority, exponents. So simplifying this, we get that A minus 0 squared is equal to 0. Simplifying the exponent, 0 to the second power is 0. Remember guys, when we take a value to an exponent, that's how many times we're multiplying the value by itself. So A minus 0 squared is 0 equals 0. Now all we have is subtraction. We can solve for A by adding 0 to both sides, and A is equal to 0. Okay? Now, what we can do here is we can check our answer. So we have solved for A equaling 0, and we have the hypothesis that choice E is our answer. But we can now check our answer, and the way that we're going to do that is substituting the value we came up with for A and substituting it in for this equation up here with the other substituted quantities. So I'm going to go ahead and erase the PEMDAS. So we have 0 minus 4 plus 2 times -2 squared equals 0. Now, we're going to know that we've done this correctly if the left side of the equal sign is equal to the right side. So we have 0 minus 4 plus 2 times -2 is -4, so 4 plus -4, careful with your negatives and adding them, 4 plus -4 is 0, squared equals 0, and 0 minus 0 squared is 0 minus 0 equaling 0. So 0 does indeed equal 0. And that does conclude that we have done this solving for the equation and solving for the A variable correctly. Okay? Alright, so again, with the key points of this question, just make sure that when you guys are making your substitutions, you're still following your standard order of operations. Alright? Okay guys, I'm going to stop the video here because the next questions are kind of a little time consuming in terms of the number of steps. But with these two questions, if you guys have any questions or concerns, or you have any particular requests for similar problems to these, please don't ever hesitate to contact or message me, okay? But I hope this video helps you guys out, and again, please enjoy the rest of your day and take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.